Hey everyone, the Asset Stacker. I wanted to do a video about fractional gold. The last video that I did was actually showing my final purchases of my fractional gold for the month of June. And I posted that video, it's probably been 2 or 3 days ago, I guess, about 3 or 4 days ago probably. And I got an interesting comment from one of the viewers wondering why I am actually buying 1/10 ounce in the quantities that I'm buying it, at least from the way I took the video. And I guess the idea in question was, wouldn't I actually have more gold by now if I would have purchased larger fractional or saved up and purchased 1 ounce gold? And I guess the biggest concern was in the heart of the question was justifying the premiums of fractional. And it's actually a really good question, and something that in my mind I used to think of it the same way that this person commented in the video. That his mindset and my mindset, I had the same mindset years ago, and it made it very difficult. Any type of premiums, even with silver. I can't tell you that my mindset has changed necessarily, that to the point that premiums don't matter, because they do. Obviously, there are certain types of silver and gold that you could purchase that the premiums would be higher. When it comes to gold, buying the 10th ounce fractional gold, this is the highest premium. Well, unless I think the maple leaf, you can do 20s or 1/20th of an ounce, and you can even get down into the grams and stuff like that, which would be even higher. But as far as the sizes that most people look at are going to be 1/10, 1/4, 1/2, and 1 ounce. All of that being said, the 1/10 ounce is actually the most purchased size of the 4 sizes that the U.S. Mint puts out. So when it comes to the American Eagle, the 1/10 ounce version, they sell more of these than they do the 1 ounce versions. Now, how did I come to the conclusion that I wanted to buy the 1/10 ounce and not focus, say, for instance, on the quarter? I know that some of the larger channels on here focus on the 1/4 ounce is the smallest that they would buy. In the current state, yes, the 1/10 ounce is roughly about the same cost as a 10 ounce silver bar, roughly. Here's my thing. Okay, so when it comes to the 1/10 ounce, I find that for my stacking strategy and what I'm shooting for my future goals, I see that fractional silver is going to be pretty important. And let me explain why. If there's a certain amount of gold and there's a certain amount of silver that I would want to put in my stack, and that number is probably going to change often between now and the age that between now and the age that I reach retirement age. I'm in my mid 40s. Retirement is probably 20 years down the road for me. Okay, so the premiums that's on the gold, the 1/10 ounce gold, it is the highest premium that I buy. But I have 20 years to make up the difference. I started with a fractional. I started with the lowest size fractional that I'm interested in, and I will be filling the the tubes like I've shown you guys before. I will have 20 of each of these, so I'll have a total of 60 of these, and then I will be done with a 1/10 ounce. That will be my stack, and that will be what I keep. I chose 60 just because that's the number that I wanted, because I wanted 20 of the American Eagles, 20 of the Maple Leafs, and 20 of the Britannias. So all of that being said, I have 20 years to eliminate the premium off of this coin. I have plenty of time, and I do believe that gold will be higher than what it is today. By the time my plan, if I ever have to use this, there will no longer be a premium that I paid on this coin. Now, obviously, as an investment, you could invest, quote unquote, invest your money into something else and make more money than what you would off of this. This is, I don't look at gold and silver the way some of you guys do. For me, this is a secure form of savings, and I like real estate. So as a real estate investor, and I'm young into real estate, but I do like real estate. And as a real estate investor, if I ever get into a place where I need money, I would much rather sell off portions of my gold and silver than I would to either sell off a piece of real estate or take a mortgage on a piece of real estate and have a mortgage payment. So my goal over the next 20 years is to have all of my real estate paid off and have my precious metal stack as a form, as a hedge, and as a protection against anything that may happen in the future. All of that being said, the reason why I choose to buy fractional and not buy like 1 ounce sizes only is because I do believe that gold, a 1 ounce gold bar today, say for instance, a 1 ounce piece of gold today is roughly just say $2,300. At today's prices, if I wanted to offload gold, I could take it to a dealer and I would get probably close to spot, or I could sell it to the general public, okay, and get more for it in the general public than what I would get probably at a bullion dealer or a local coin shop. The problem is it's very difficult to sell 1 ounce to the public. It is much easier to take 1/10 of an ounce and sell this for $230. Now again, I know that I paid more than that for this because of the premium, but we're talking about 20 years down the road when the chances of gold being valued at $2,300 is pretty slim, and it would probably be somewhere more around, I would say probably around the $5,000 range. I hear some people say it would be up to $10,000 or whatever. But here's my question to you guys who don't like fractional gold. When it comes time to sell this, and you need to sell, and you need to sell quickly, let's say that gold is at $5,000 an ounce, okay? Is it going to be easier for you to find someone who has $500? What if you don't need $5,000? What if you have a bill or you have something that comes up and you only need $2,000 and you only have ounces worth of gold? So you're going to have to sell 1 ounce off a $5,000 piece in order to get the $2,000 you want. Or you could just sell 4 1/10 ounce and not sell off all of your gold, and you still have your gold stored in a secure asset. Your money would be in gold, not in paper. Fractional has a place in my long-term view. And so I do break it down to the smallest denominator, for me being the 1/10 ounce. It's going to be much easier for me to find someone that has $500 than it is to someone that has 5,000. Even at today's value, like I said, it's very difficult to find someone, especially in the current economy that we have, where people are struggling a lot to even put food on the table. How hard is it going to be for them to come up with $2,300 when you need it most to buy an ounce of gold? And like I said, I know you could go to a coin shop. I am well aware of that. But as far as fast money and being able to sell and get the most return on your money, I do believe that you're going to probably need to sell to the public. And when it comes to that, you're looking at fractional gold being the easiest to offload, simply because of the amount that it's worth. As far as how much do I typically think that I should have, for me personally, this is the way that these are my goals, okay? And you can set up your goals, and I'm not telling you to do what I do, or that this is not financial advice in any way. This is just what I'm doing. So how I determine how much gold and silver I even have, or would even try to have, or want to keep in my deep stack, I determine it by my net worth. And so, like I said, I like real estate. So to make the numbers easy, let's just say that I own $1 million worth of real estate. Okay. I would want to have 10% of my total net worth in precious metals. So if I owned $1 million worth of real estate, my personal goal for my precious metal stack would be $100,000, which would be 10% of what my net worth is. How I would break that down is, if I had that $1 million in assets, I would try to buy a total of $100,000 worth of precious metals. But I divide that out, and 25% of that would be in silver, and the other 75% would be in gold. So in that scenario, I would own $1 million worth of real estate, and then I would own $25,000 in silver and $75,000 worth of gold. So that's how I would personally break that down. $75,000 worth of gold at the current gold prices being roughly $2,300 per ounce. That would be 32 ounces of gold that I would have to have in my stack. Now, that's what my goal would be. But like I said, I am 20 years out from retirement. So, as I told you before, the numbers are not going to add up if you look at what I'm actually trying to do for my actual goals of stacking. So I'm wanting 20 of the 1/10 ounce of the American Eagles, 20 of the Maple Leafs, and 20 of the Britannias, okay? That's just in the 1/10 ounce. So you're looking at it, when it's done, there will be 60 1/10 ounce coins, which will be a total of 6 ounces. I'm going to be stacking the same 3 tubes when it comes to 1/4 ounces, which will be 15 ounces total by the time I fill up 3 of those tubes. And then I'm doing the same thing for the 1/2 ounce tubes. And if you look at that, that's an additional 30 ounces. So you're looking at 51 ounces just in 1/10, 1/4, and 1/2 ounces on my strategy so far. Where this kind of messes up for me from there, on where I stand personally on my net worth, I'm hoping that over the next 20 years my net worth will increase. It may not, but I still have a desire to have a stack of 3 tubes of 10 1/10, 3 tubes of a half, 3 tubes of a quarter, but 4 tubes of the 1 ounce, because I'm wanting to use the Britannia 1 ounce tube of 20, Maple Leaf 1 ounce tube of 20, the American Eagle 1 ounce tubes of 20, but I'm also wanting to do the American Gold Buffalo, 20 of those as well. What that looks like is 131 ounces total by the time my stack is completely done, which would put me of having a very high ratio. It's well more than 10% of what my net worth is, okay? But this is a personal goal that I've set for gold because this is what I wanted to fractional out. But if you wanted to look at 131 ounces of gold, and that being 75% of the value of your total precious metals, then that means I would have, of the gold, the 131 ounces at $2,300 an ounce. That would put you at just over $300,000, actually $301,300 worth of gold in that 131 ounces. But if your gold to silver ratio was 75% gold and 25% silver, then in addition to the $300,000 in gold, I would also need to have $100,433 worth of silver in my stack, which would give me a total of about $400,000 worth of precious metals. In order for me to justify having that much precious metals and it making sense, that would mean that my total real estate portfolio would need to be valued at roughly $4 million worth of real estate. And again, I'm nowhere near any of that. This is just something that I'm starting with a goal in mind. Will I be able to accumulate all of that over the next 20 years? Who knows? I don't know with the way that the economy is and the way things are, I have no earthly idea what's going to fall into place. But if you don't have a goal, then you'll hit your goal. If you don't have something that you aim at, you'll hit it every time. If you want a goal, you have to set one. And small goals are easy to hit. Large goals, obviously, they're more challenging. I don't know that that's a realistic goal. I would like to have enough in my retirement years that I won't have to worry about my wife or my family if I'm gone. I'd like to be able to leave them whatever they need. That is my job. It's my job to take care of my family, and it's not the government's job to take care of my family. It's my job to do that, and it's not anybody else's. It's not the church's responsibility to take care of my family. It is my responsibility. So I take that responsibility seriously as I would anything else, and it's a goal. You look at the numbers. If I have that type of real estate, the type of real estate that I like, if I can get it paid for, of course, that's a different story, but paid for, obviously, if it was paid for real estate, I would not need as much of a net worth to make money. But real estate that has a mortgage against it, obviously, the mortgage company gets most of the money. So it does have a higher risk as well. But either way, this is my strategy for my precious metals. And some people will understand that. Some people will not. Some people will agree with it. Some people will disagree with it. But going back to the original question, why would I purchase something so small that has a high premium? And it's, like I said, for me, it's not about today. Okay. I don't put more into this today that I have to actually sell this tomorrow if something comes up. If you ever are buying something today that you stand a chance of having to sell tomorrow, then you're your investment strategy is flawed, and you're going to always lose money by doing that. So for me, this is a long-term strategy. And again, I do believe that gold and silver, for that matter. So you may ask, well, gold and silver are going to go up in value. In the long run, I do believe that over the next 20 years, it's going to go up. I don't believe that the premium I'm paying today is something that I'm going to lose 20 years from now if I need to sell it. I have no intentions of selling this in 20 years. This is not something that I'm buying with the intentions of selling. This is something that I'm buying that I look at it as I buy this, and if I need something, I would rather sell this off in 20 years than sell off a piece of property. And I don't like mortgages, so I really don't want to have to get a mortgage on a property. So I can sell this. But again, I think that the prices are going to be so much higher than what they are today that it's going to be much easier to sell this off than it is to sell a full ounce. So therefore, it has a place in my stack, and it's a strategy. Okay, the premium to me, I would rather pay the premium today to have the gains later, because this is a long-term plan for me. This is not a short-term investment. That's my strategy. And going back to what I was about to say a while ago, and then I'll get off of here. If you are wondering why the ratio is 25 to 75, so 75% gold, 25% silver, why is that my strategy? A couple of reasons. Silver, I think, is more manipulated because it is also an industrial metal. And for the foreseeable future, at least in my lifetime, I don't see anything that can take the place of silver in the industrialized world. And for that reason, it will probably always have some type of market manipulation. Okay. That being said, another reason is it is also more volatile. So it has higher upswings and higher upswing potential, but it also has a larger downswing potential. So by looking at it from that standpoint, it is an asset that is more volatile. And chances are, okay, if you have 100%, now, if you have 100% of your portfolio in silver, the value of your stack is going to be much more volatile than it would be if you had it in gold. Gold is more stable. It is also looked at as a tier 1 asset, when silver, to my knowledge, silver is not. It is still considered an industrial metal. Gold has always been money, and it will always have a monetary value. Even if your dollar or the currency that your government uses, even if it is not actually tied to gold, it will always have value, even if your fiat currency doesn't. So actually, it will have more value when your fiat currency doesn't. Gold is a safer asset to hold your wealth in. I would never want to store a bunch of paper money. I think it's wise to have an emergency fund that you have easy access to. But I would never hold $400,000 worth of cash. I would much rather have $400,000 worth of precious metals. But like I said, silver is more of a gamble in a lot of ways. However, the benefits to silver is they say that silver is the currency of gentlemen and that gold is the currency of kings. There's a lot of truth to that. So silver will be much easier to sell off to the public than this, even this 1/10 ounce gold piece. In a pinch, silver is going to be easier to offload, and simply because of it can be broke down into smaller amounts of money. So it's going to, anytime that you could, just as it's easier to sell off, it's easier, you have more buyers that can afford to buy 1/10 ounce of gold than they can afford to buy 1 ounce of gold. Same scenario with silver. Silver is a cheaper metal. It's going to be much easier to find people that have enough money to buy 1 ounce of silver than can afford 1/10 ounce of gold. So it's the same principle. So there is that aspect of it. So it is important to have some silver as well. But my point is, silver has its place. Gold has its place in my stack. I chose this ratio of 25% silver, 75% gold. I chose that ratio for one purpose, and one purpose, the biggest purpose, is weight and trustworthiness of gold as a tier 1 asset. So, and the volatility of silver. So those are the biggest reasons why silver is more of a gamble. It's more of a buy in, get out type strategy if that's what you want to play. I don't play those games. I don't play that. I didn't play that. I don't like playing that idea. So, and I'm not a gambler in that aspect. And even people who do stocks, there's a lot of people that do stocks the same way. They find a niche and they buy in, sell. They try to buy in, buy low, sell high. And you could probably do that with silver because it does have a much higher volatility than gold does. But gold is more stable. And what I'm looking for in retirement, and what I want my retirement plan to look like, is something that has a lot more. I want the most stability in my retirement as possible. So it's been a long video, and I do appreciate you guys watching. I hope you watched to the end. I hope this was interesting, an interesting topic for you guys. I found the question interesting when I read it in the comments, and I wanted to just kind of put my 2 cents out there, I guess. He asked the question, and I wanted to answer it the best way I knew how. But that is why I buy 1/10 ounce gold. And like I said, I'm not saying that it's my favorite fractional piece. I'm saying that I want a little bit of all of the fractional gold that there is. I'd much rather be able, if I need to sell off something, say gold is at $5,000 and I need $2,500, I would rather sell off a 1/2 ounce of gold than sell off 5 of the 1/10 ounce. So having that ability to do that is the key point to my strategy for retirement. So, and like I said, I'm hoping I never have to sell any of it, but if that day comes and something happens, then that's my strategy. But I do appreciate you watching. If you would, please like, share, subscribe. Keep watching the videos because I'm about to do some giveaways coming up. I enjoy giving stuff away. So if you'd like some free silver, who knows, maybe something else, keep watching. And you want to watch my videos to the end. So let me know if you're watching this one to the end. You just never know when I'm going to put out a video that says, hey, you watched to the end and you won. Appreciate you watching. Keep stacking.